Hello, everyone. We have Tina back again because today we get to talk about the post expectations or post solution expectations. Since I left you all, remember when I asked Tina about how she felt after going through all the things that she went through with her Graves' disease? Anybody who has not tuned in to Desperate for a Solution, that's where you would hear about that. But a little short recap. So Tina has been through an autoimmune disease called Graves' disease. I'll let her explain more of it because I don't remember all of it. And when I asked her how she felt after she did the iodine treatment, she answered, well, because I said, oh, so you're happy now? And she said, I think she said something like, not really. And so we're going to talk about what it's like after you've actually taken the steps to pursue resolving an autoimmune disease. And so focus a little bit on expectations, anything else that she's learned, and relationship with doctors, because in the first episode you will hear, again, if you haven't, the experiences. So Tina, can you share a little bit again about the autoimmune disease that you have, a little bit about the journey with the doctors and that solution, and then continue with the part why you weren't happy, and that will get us to start talking about that.
Hello, everybody. Morning, afternoon, I don't know.
Evening.
Evening. So, okay, yes. When I was 16, they diagnosed me with hyperthyroid, specifically Graves' disease, which is considered an autoimmune disease where your thyroid is your body's attacking itself, as all autoimmune diseases are defined. So I tried various methods while I was take the medication. I didn't take the medication because I was young and obviously you're strong. So I tried alternative medicines, a
Yes.
bit the food, yes, basically food. And mainly I was looking for cooperation with doctors, which was very hard to find. So I think that is one thing that I would like, hopefully doctors will be seeing this as well, and patients,
Yes.
because the right doctor, I think patient who's involved in with their disease,
Disease and is
or
empowered, an empowered individual too, right? Because you need to be able to stand up for yourself, and not everybody will stand up for themselves with the doctor saying, no, don't do this, don't do that, right?
yes, not everybody, because the doctors sometimes I think almost misinterpret that the patient is trying to do their job or tell them how to do it when it's really they're involved. For those
Yeah.
patients who are involved, you also
Yeah.
have people who fully trust doctors, and by
They're not.
all means, the
Yes.
outcomes are good. They're fine. Doctors are there to help us. So
Yeah.
anyhow, back to me, in my case, anytime there was a mention of getting the operation, which would be removing partially your thyroid or taking radioactive iodine. So the idea of it being killed or hurt was something that made me cry every
Yeah.
time,
Well, because it's a part of
anytime.
you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, um, so yes, the few encounters. Okay, so when with my mother's help, the encounters with the doctors was cooperating. They were trying to get my thyroid to regulate with the medications, but I wasn't taking them. So that possibly had an impact as well.
Yeah.
I was fine, I was healthy, and then I came here in Spain and I just went on about. Then I had my kids. In the meantime, I was looking for solutions because I wanted to put on a bit of weight, feel energetic, because
Yes.
the only symptom I had was losing weight.
Yeah.
Um, which obviously when you're 20, it's fine, but then
You
30,
get
you
older.
have
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
you start noticing things. And so yes, once my daughter was born, I said, okay, it's time I, start to dig deeper. In the meantime, so I took meditation classes, I took Reiki, so
Yes.
alternative ways to try and heal
Work
my
with your body.
body,
Yeah.
because obviously I just didn't accept the fact that it wouldn't be able to heal on its own, because there are people who have succeeded in this.
Yes.
The big issue, I think, was finding the doctor who would work with me
Yeah,
with this.
I
So
agree. Yeah. That would have helped because they know things, there's knowledge. And then to say, I'll support you, let us try together with
yes,
nutrition, energy, with a supportive professional, you would have
yes,
welcomed
exactly.
all of it and they would have had the data. I mean, so yeah, it creates a
Yes,
very different experience for the person besides doing it on your own, which,
exactly.
yeah.
Which is what I did,
Yeah,
doing
and
it
a
on
lot
my
of
own.
people, by the way, because the feedback for our first, where when we did the desperate for solution, a lot of people shared they felt reassured and comforted by your experience because they are not the only ones going through it. So individuals, I would say probably with the autoimmune, because it's like you feel helpless and you get
Yes,
angry too because your body's attacking you and the
yes,
doctors don't have the answers. That's why it's an autoimmune. If it's defined, they have a solution. So it's easier, quote unquote, for a person because they're presented with either the natural remedies or anyways, if it's not something unexplainable, there's a solution. So this is a different journey, but getting
yes.
back to, yes, the post solution. So once you did
So
get to
once I
that, go ahead.
found, so my, yes, the endocrinologist I had at one after 2 years of medication for hyperthyroid, the Graves' disease, he said, that's it. Next year, it's been 2 years. You're still hypothyroid. You're gonna have radioactive iodine.
So this
And I,
doctor worked well with you, right?
no,
This
he
one,
did.
no.
This one didn't.
Oh,
I asked him to do the zinc test, do the vitamin
oh,
D
and he said
test, the
no.
20, and he said, no, this is all useless information that you have. So, but when you get back in September from vacation, we're doing the radioactive iodine treatment. So I said, "Hmm, all right. And I never went back to him. But then, so the years went by, and then I had my first um, panic anxiety attack, which after 1 year, I had a doctor who helped me out with an alternative way of
Yeah.
treating it. He gave me supplements in
Mm.
liquid form, and I gained weight. My general doctor practitioner he did the blood test of the vitamin D,
Mm-hmm.
and he found that it was very low. And he
Okay.
gave me supplements for that. And I started gaining weight and I started feeling energetic. So that
Okay.
was like, wow, great, but
Yeah.
still, I still didn't have an endocrinologist who would follow me.
Okay.
So
Yes.
that was the issue. I had hypothyroid and I needed an endocrinologist to follow me because obviously that wasn't enough. It helped for a while. So then the second time I started getting an sort of panic attack where I started feeling emotionally very different. I said, okay,
Mm.
that's it.
Okay.
I need to accept what the world is giving me. I don't have a doctor, an endocrinologist who will cooperate with me,
Yeah.
who understands the research I've done, the knowledge I've gained from
Yeah.
investigating and reading. And so, Tina, accept what the world is giving you right now. And at least I actually have not an so invasive um, solution because
Mm-hmm.
before a long time ago, the one solution was to remove partially a thyroid. So you
Yeah.
would get the operation. Then we have the radioactive iodine, which helps also, and it's not invasive. So I said, at least I can do this one,
Yeah.
and I know how I can make sure that I won't have any remaining radioactive iodine within
Yeah.
me. I knew that by taking Atlantic dose, I'd be able to guarantee that my body wouldn't have any remains of radioactive iodine. The doctors won't tell you that. Obviously, they're going to say, but rightfully they say you'll be fine. It'll be in
Yeah.
your body for a week, and then it'll be
Well,
gone.
and this is where there are differences. Like you said, there are a group of people that they trust simply in what is shared by the medical community, by the mass media in general. And then there is a growing portion of people that will want to combine methods because in use science, I haven't dug in it yet a lot, but Greg Braden, who's one of the authors that I follow, who is in a different space, but he talks about the resilience of the body. He's come out with many books and works with many medical professionals, but they're in new science. They're in a not the traditional. So this is that place. There's a documentary that he does with another bunch of people. I don't remember their names, but it's called Heal. It's on Gaia as well, and on Amazon, and it talks about emotion, and that's where our body, energy, emotion, energy and motion. So there's a lot of factors. And when you say, you know, you didn't have an endocrinologist that could work with you with that trust, this is where a combination is what's necessary, obviously, when there's the autoimmune. So for some people, that path works completely. For others, it doesn't, not to mention those costs. Remember when we talked about Reiki the last time?
Yes.
We have various aspects to consider. So they talk a lot about the body healing, but then if you do try to even attempt perhaps going to, I don't know, I haven't done enough research to it, but let's say I want to try some practitioner that says I can help heal you. The accessibility of that is most likely, from what I've gathered, not very accessible financially speaking, which brings us back to our existing medical practices and their solution, at least in the Western world, because I don't know enough about medicine in the Eastern world, but I do know that they are more holistic. From this other documentary I had watched, that they take all of the body into consideration. So they explain this difference between Western medicine and Eastern medicine. So without anything being better or worse, the person who wants their body to work and knows that it can are the ones like you.
Yes.
And again, autoimmune, I would say, is unique. And that's where feelings take place, right? As you'll explain to us with the post-solution expectations part, and why it wasn't a yay, I'm so happy after you did what you did, which is what somebody would hope for. But yeah, to get back, sorry, didn't want to interrupt you, to your stuff.
No, so yes, that's you know, so exactly. I didn't have a doctor, but I had come to a point where I wanted to, it was, I had one anxiety panic attack. I didn't want to have another one. And I was going through a similar emotional, mental, physical
Experience.
problem like the first time. And I said, okay, so let's accept what the world gives you. And this is the solution you have, because where I'm at, I've tried
Homeopathy. I think it's homeopathy, naturopathy. I don't use the word enough,
but that didn't work. That didn't work. So yes, the point is you need a doctor who obviously also knows what you're going through with the part of the body that is, in my case, the thyroid that was attacking itself, and now it was getting also anxiety attack. It's like, no, I'm not gonna deal with this. So I went and talked to a general practitioner in general. I told him everything, and this is finding the right doctor who is empathetic, who has empathy for the patient, who listens to them, who understands them. And he said, I admire what you did, and that's great, the work you did. There's a solution. You can get an operation, or you can take radioactive iodine. And says, I understand you, but if I'm a doctor, he said, and I had to get operated, and I'm a doctor. So if being a doctor, I had to, I could have got in between what they were going to do to me, and or I just let them do what they knew how to do and be better. And here I am, alive. Okay.
Empathy is so nice. Yeah. Empathy is so nice.
Yes, it is. So exactly. That was, so his words, it's like, yes, okay, Tina, let's, look at this differently. So also one of my goals was to not do radioactive iodine, like take the action without regret.
Yeah.
That was another thing. So in this moment, I didn't cry when I thought of doing the radioactive iodine. Whereas in the past, anytime it was mentioned, I just would cry.
I have a question about that. Did you resolve with yourself? Is that why the regret part, like the part that you didn't cry, or was it the doctor that helped that? What do you think? or what do you
I
know?
think it was me accepting what the world's given me
Okay.
and trusting that everything's going to be fine.
Okay.
Coming to a change in perspective on how I saw things and visualized things that came to me.
So
So,
peace,
yes,
peace, peace.
before it was more resistance of
Mm-hmm.
no, there has to be another way. Um, Again, though, it's also trusting that what comes to you is meant to be.
Yeah.
Seeing it for what it is and trusting, having faith that everything's gonna be fine.
Yep.
Don't worry, even
Yeah.
if it's, so in this case, I am lucky because I had two options. Not
Not only
not to
one, not that you had to
exactly.
get the, yeah, cut out from my
Many
throat.
people in Europe, they prefer surgery.
Because
They
they think
find it,
well, yeah, radioactive. I don't want radioactivity in me. They think of a
yes.
lot of things
So
that
for
can,
them, it's, not to mention in Europe, they take more time before they say you're going to do the radioactive
yes,
iodine.
they try
They
to
don't
work with the body.
for a
Yes.
bit, but then because it's hyperthyroid, at least in this case, it burns, it's fast, so you burn
Mm-hmm.
more things. You burn your minerals, vitamins, everything, and in fact, that's another thing. I wanted to put on a bit of weight.
Yeah.
So anyhow, yes, finding this doctor gave me insight. I was taking courses of meditation, and also that helped me change perspective and say,
Trust in the
faith,
universe, trust in what's
yes,
being presented to you.
exactly. So then I said, all right, I'll do the radioactive iodine. I searched for the doctor and I did a bit of research, background research, hoping to find an endocrinologist who would cooperate. Um, so the one I found, he's a good doctor. He did put aside my mineralogy test, which he actually threw it on the side. Because when I went there, I said,
So you
look, I have,
noticed, yeah.
well, when I went there, I obviously went, with hopes that maybe I would find somebody who would work a bit with me. But
Yes.
he pushed the mineralogy, which the mineralogy is the hair test, where
Yeah.
they cut a bit of hair off and they get results of what your organs are missing, what
And it's
minerals
so
and vitamins your
fascinating.
organs are
I'm
missing.
sorry, let me, because this is where today I was talking on the episode about other things, but when I think of the human body, they talk about, so in this Heal documentary, they talk about emotions and trauma and how that is really something you want to pay attention to, and then you can uncover. And then we have mineralogy, which affects our organs and the way they work. I mean, we are like a machine. Like there's specific fuel, and that involves emotion. It involves mineral. It involves all these different components. So you would actually think that somebody, but this is where we're still getting to that blend probably between traditional medicine and a newfound medicine that really our ancestors have always known. So homeopathy, naturopathy, the methodologies of the ancients work because they're
Mhm.
part of nature. We're part of nature. Now we have the technology that's going to prove why it worked. And so those who need the science will be able to see it. But
Yes,
it's sad to see that somebody, oh, okay, but here it doesn't mean anything to me. Like,
yes,
yeah, it actually does. It does.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, it's no, it's complex. The body's complex, and I think being even a doctor is
Oh, yeah.
complicated. You have so many
Yeah.
patients. No, I agree with you. It is all in one, but it's we're still learning. So yeah, here we
Yeah.
are. No, I mean, because you have doctors who do combine these things, but
Yeah.
they're few, or
Yes.
they're few, then they're expensive, and you have the ones who say, "I'm going to heal you," and you don't get
Yeah.
healed because
That is
there's a
exactly.
number of factors that play a big role in it.
Yep.
So,
Yep. So
so I
getting back to
mean,
your appointment and the minerals aside, he does that. And then what?
and then he said, so he said, all right, we're going to start with giving you hyperthyroid medication, which wasn't a bad thing. It was like, okay, that's good, because so he was willing to try again to
Mm,
balance my thyroid with hyperthyroid medication without doing the operation immediately.
okay.
Unfortunately, I had a reaction to the
That's
medicine that I've
right. I
taken in the
forgot about
past.
that's right.
That
You
was
got
like a
allergic,
smack in the
right?
face. Yes,
Yeah.
a nice
Okay. Well,
rash all
okay,
over the
listeners.
body.
Anybody who's she's my twin sister, so I'm gonna interject here. I treat her a little bit differently, but that is funny, isn't it? Don't you think it was like your body kind of like saying, nope, sorry, we're not doing this because you've never
That,
liked medicine in general.
yeah,
But it was a very bad it was an allergic reaction, right?
yes. I
Yeah.
have other theories behind my
Oh,
allergic
what are your
reaction,
theories?
but
What are
it's
your theories?
too,
Oh, you can't say.
the,
Okay.
no, I can. I mean, no, it's the books I've read, the, the research I've done. The theory
Yes.
is that the problem stems from another organ having a problem, which
Okay.
would be the liver.
Okay. Go ahead.
When I told this to I don't know what the word is in English, but I spoke to another doctor. So you
Okay.
have the ones who are specialized in rare situations.
Oh, rare
I don't,
diseases. Okay. So they're
on
special,
rare,
not
yes,
autoimmune, just rare diseases.
yes.
Okay.
And I got the blood test and I told him, I went to him and I said, I think I have a problem. Maybe it's due to my liver. And the
Mm.
side effects of the medication, it has one of the side effects if you have liver problems would be to get a rash,
Uh-huh.
basically. Have a rash, a
Yeah.
reaction where you look like you're allergic to the medicine all over your
Oh,
body,
okay.
or blood needed to be cleaned.
Okay. The liver,
So the liver or the
right?
blood.
Oh,
So yes,
one or the other.
the
Okay.
liver or the blood. That was one of the side effects that I read on the pamphlet. So I tried to get him to work with me, and I mentioned it, and he said, "Nope, you have."
So what was your
S-
idea? What did you want to do? Like, let's do
I
some more
wanted
tests.
to, I
Let's find
wanted to
out.
do more tests, and maybe yes, try to see if there was something. Well, with the liver, you can't detect it. It's the books I've
Ah,
read. It's not that. It's the bacteria that starts these little problems stems from the liver. So it's
well,
there in the liver, and
okay.
then
Is this
it decides
all autoimmune diseases in general? From the research,
from
from the we
from the
were only
research.
talking about
Yes,
your research. Don't worry, the listeners know we're not giving any advice to
yes,
anybody. This is a personal experience. From the research, it's the liver that has this bacteria
yes.
kind
That
of.
decides is what organ to attack.
Okay, got it. So you
To from the research I
just
have, yes,
randomly, like, or is
yes.
it connect them? No, random.
No, it's
So your
there on the liver.
hypothesis, go ahead.
My hypothesis is there was a problem with the liver in the first place. A problem. There wasn't a problem. There's a bacteria that's there,
Okay.
and that feeds off on different
Okay. And it did its
metals,
thing.
pathogens, and everything. And
Okay.
then it decides to, oh, look, I'm going to sit here in the thyroid and create what technically is attacking your body. So,
Got it.
in the research I've done, this would be the third stage
What's the
of
third
the
stage?
situation. The thyroid problem is the third
Oh, and what's
stage.
the second and first state? What are the other stages? Just curious since you're sharing. What's the second and first stage? Do you remember?
Well, the first one, it's not really, they said you can get mononucleosis,
Ah,
streptococcus, you get
ah,
certain,
little things. Okay.
yes, little things. And then the second stage is maybe palpitations or physical
Ah,
imbalances that aren't normal.
okay.
I mean,
Got it.
and then it gradually
Graduates to the next
it
level.
gradually becomes a, it gradually becomes a disease, a problem,
And
a
we're not
physical problem. So anyhow, so yes, my theory from the rash,
research
from the
and the
allergic
rat.
reaction I had was like maybe it's from the liver
Okay.
or having the blood needing to be cleaned,
Yeah.
basically, because all of these things are inside the body.
Yeah. 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 But the doctor said,
Ah,
nope, it's not that, right?
the
And
doctor said you have a thyroid problem. That's
okay,
it.
that's it.
You need to go get your thyroid.
Okay.
medication or operation. So we crossed it out, and I said, all right. And funnily, I went to see another endocrinologist, still in the hopes of finding one that would work with me.
Oh my God.
And this guy happened to be the boss of my
Ah,
boss.
oh, really?
So
Oh,
yes,
that's funny. The boss
yes,
of your boss.
yes.
Oh,
So I went because yes, I have. I use a private insurance, and as you know, in Europe, there's a public insurance.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, I know the listeners might now, there's private and public. There you go ahead.
So before going to my current and nice endocrinologist, I said, let me just try another endocrinologist. And when I made the appointment and I went, he's an old man, so he's been an endocrinologist for a while. But when I walked in his office, there's the boss of the guy basically who opened this private studio where my doctor works.
The one that you didn't want. So the one
No,
that
no,
threw the
no.
minerals away? No.
The one
Oh.
that's currently my doctor. But before going and continuing with him, I said, let
Oh.
me try another endocrinologist before I
I go to this
go back
guy.
to
Okay.
the, the one who said, let's start your treatment with
Uh,
the
so
hyperthyroid
you
medicine.
find him with the old doctor? You found
I
him with
no,
the
I saw his boss walk in the office when I
Oh,
went to see him.
yeah.
So when I went to the other hospital, this is making sense, right?
No,
When I went to
almost, not yet, but I'm sure it will. Go ahead.
so my doctor's name is Angel.
Yes, let's use names.
Okay,
Okay.
yes, that will help.
Or even just
So
A if you want.
before going back to Angel, I said I'm going to try and see a second opinion of
Okay.
an endocrinologist because of my theory of okay, this reaction is due to some other problem.
Yeah.
Let's see if maybe somebody will work with me
And
to
listen
look
to me.
into this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the endocrinologist who was there
Yeah.
is an elderly man who opened up a private studio that Angel, my doctor, works in.
Okay. I got it
So
now.
when I walked in and was waiting for him, and he comes in, I'm just like, oh, really? Okay.
What
Okay.
did
How do I
Angel?
speak to him? Because he's not, So I'm like, hello, I was here to see if maybe we could
I got
make
a second opinion.
get a second opinion. I'm happy with my doctor Angel. And he's like, oh yes, I know him. He's my colleague. He's a great doctor. I'm like, no, no, I know he's a great doctor. I just wanted a second opinion. So that was for me, that was very funny. Um, well, it was also another sign in a way,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
because I was taking, as I said, Rigpa meditation classes, which they use phrases of the Bible.
Synchronicity. Well, even just synchronicities. Again, the
And
even
in this office, there was the cross of Jesus
Jesus.
and
Yeah.
right on my right side. So, I'm sitting here waiting and
And
I see
there's a
the cross.
sign. Yeah.
And then this guy comes in and it's like, oh my God, he's the boss of my doctor. Or,
For,
great.
see, for
So
anybody who's non-confrontational, which are some, right? This is can happen. It's okay.
I
I'm
said,
happy he
okay.
took it well. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, he did. He's like, oh no, but you have an amazing doctor. What do you? I was like, no, I just wanted a second opinion, and that's it. Obviously, I didn't go into more details because
What's the
with
point?
my current doctor, it wasn't open to check out other, or it didn't have the not, didn't
Have the
agree with the other
inclination.
ways.
Yeah.
This 80-year-old man, 70-year-old man, come on, really. So anyways,
Well, I don't know
it
if it's
was good.
age because it's more the mindset and the way they evaluate things than age. I'm thinking there are some people that are 70-ish and in the new science realm, like that do work
Well,
more with the
yes,
body
yes,
than other doctors. I just
yes,
think
but
it's a
he's
smaller number and not as accessible, except for
yes.
books and reading, and if you're interested to do it on your own.
Well, no, but you would have to find them.
Yeah.
They
Or
wouldn't do
find them. Yeah.
somebody, that's the thing.
Yeah.
One does their research, like I checked out information about my doctor, my current endocrinologist,
Yes.
did a little bit of a background to see, okay, he looks like a flexible person who would work with me. And he is flexible. I mean,
Yeah.
he just doesn't add other things to what he already knows. He's
Yeah.
flexible in the sense of when I ended up deciding to do the radioactive iodine
Yep.
because so I got the rash. I got
Yes.
the rash. It was an allergic reaction to the medicine. Dr. Anhu said, okay, then we're going to use this other type of hyperthyroid medicine. And it worked for 2 weeks. And then I started getting symptoms of an allergic reaction again. And I wasn't about to let that
Yeah.
appear like the first time where it was all over my body. So I
Yeah.
immediately went to him and said, nope,
It's
this
not
is
gonna
not
work.
working
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
because and he said, all right, well, then we'll set you up for the operation. And I said, nope, I want to do the radioactive iodine. And he's like, oh. And I was like, yeah, I prefer that method. You can do that one, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
said, yes, you can. You need to find a place where they accept the course. So there, he's flexible. Instead of insisting on his here in Europe, they insist more on getting the operation.
Yeah.
Even if it's invasive, they prefer that method over radioactive iodine.
Well, they think of it as poison. I'm thinking because it's
Well,
radioactive. The mentality about no, you've been with
it's
the doctors more than I.
more, they think of it as, no, as not poison, more rough.
Ah,
It's more,
stronger or okay, got it. It's more. So while you think of the operation as invasive, they feel that's more aggressive
exactly, that's the
to
word.
the
They
body
feel it's more aggressive.
instead of being able to use instruments, which is something that's old. They've done it a lot and that they know.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So they feel it's safer
Yes.
for this case.
Mm-hmm.
Radioactive iodine, they would use it more if there's a nodal, a knot in the thyroid. When
Yeah.
you have big nodals, knots,
Knots.
or
Yes. Knots. Nodules. Maybe too.
nodules.
Nodules. Knots. Okay. Yeah.
So that's where they would use it
Mm,
in Europe. But
okay.
but there you go. He was flexible, as in, okay, you want to do that, that's fine. That's also another way. And I went and found my lab and I did it. And I read books. So there again, I was involved in the research and thank God, because doctors don't know everything and it is complicated. But
Yeah.
I found a book from an endocrinologist who did warn that they spoke about the two different methods of of curing your thyroid,
Uh-huh.
of
Okay.
helping it get back to regulating itself normally.
Yeah.
And in her book, she did say if you do the radioactive iodine from being hyperthyroid,
Mm-hmm.
there can be a small chance that you have to do it more than once. So
Well,
the
and to the
first
listeners, again, because she's my twin sister, Tina never really responded well to medication. When we were little, we both got our appendix taken out, and she woke up while she was in the operation
emergency,
place. Yeah. And so it's like anesthesia, medicines. So, so and to make help her finish also the story. But here's a funny note about yeah, the part besides this doctor
yeah,
writing
no,
about
it's
it,
true.
but your body just yeah doesn't.
It's true. With the when I got my one of the root canals, the doctor had
Yes.
to inject like 4 syringes, and he said, "This is the last one. I can't give you any more of this. If it
Pain
doesn't
man.
fall asleep, you're gonna have to deal with the pain."
Yeah.
So yes,
But
it's
yeah,
true.
so the doctor wrote about how it might not take the radioactive might not work the first time around. So
Exactly.
to
So
say,
she said, this doctor, yes, she said it can happen that the patient needs to do it more than once. So
mm-hmm.
don't expect immediate results.
And
And no, you're not going to get any better immediately because there's going to be hormonal, and I mean, the endocrine system is complex, so it's hormonal and
It'll need to reestablish a balance in time.
exactly. So she
Mm,
did give these little warnings where it's not going to be all rosy and flower. I get it fixed
yeah.
like that. No, she suggested to take meditation classes, for example, to do
Oh,
Taoyin, Tai Chi.
really?
Oh yeah,
And this
she
doctor, where's she from? Was the US
she's from the
doctor?
U.S. She's
Okay,
from the U.S. I
nice.
bought her book. I found the book on iBooks. I don't have the title. If anybody's
Yeah.
interested, I can pass
Yes. Reach
you the
out.
title of the
Yes.
book.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
And but she's very good. So it was actually good because funnily, yes, the first dose was
round.
nice. I so basically, obviously, you need, well, you guys might know or not, but you have to stay away from children when you get radioactive iodine. They don't tell you these things. I mean, usually in the hospital, you would be for 3 days in the hospital and covered all alone, isolated, to not
All by
get anybody else
yourself.
infected. So it's like, in my case, I was lucky in the sense that I got to choose the place where I would get it done. They told me if you have children, uh, stay away from them for a week if they're younger than 10. Something that, by the way, my other endocrinologist from the public hospital, when he said, you're getting this whether you want it or not, did not say.
Oh.
And my children were younger. All he said was, don't worry, your kids will be fine. So,
Mm. So it's not,
yes,
yeah,
I mean,
there,
no, it's just you need to get it done. That's it. Let's
yeah.
remove all of the other people you could
Well, and that's the
technically,
part, if I can say, that every person, no matter what their title, is a human, right?
yes,
So this is that place where, and I think the more individuals that are taking matters in their hands this way and kind of standing up and doing things differently, besides there being a community of doctors, because if there's new science, there's also the doctors that are more open to doing just, to exploring topics that are important. What I'm
yeah.
trying to say is they're human, so they don't know everything. The
Well, yeah.
problem is them not acknowledging that, and therefore, not really allowing more to come in when a patient is taking action to inform
Yes.
themselves. Unfortunately, ego and that part of them may be getting offended. It depends on the personality, but see,
Well, yes,
even the most
exactly.
open doctors like, oh no, the mineral doesn't matter. Like they're not
Yes.
taking it. Oh, maybe it's valuable. Oh, maybe let me research this.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's complicated because then again, maybe 10 years ago, I would have said something differently. Like, yes, I hate those doctors.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I would say they have a lot of patience. So their main concern is getting you to feel better
Yeah.
with what they
The
know.
solution.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
the solution that they know that works and that helps 90% of the people,
Yeah.
95, is what they, not because they don't care, actually they do care. So in this
Mhm.
case, even if I saw it as seriously, I've got children
You're not
and a
telling me that I
husband. What
need to
about
stay
my
away. Yeah.
husband?
Yeah.
He's not thinking of them. He's thinking of, you need to get this problem fixed for
Yeah.
your own benefit, you know. So
Your
I
own
need
health.
to help this person get better. So let's
Mm-hmm.
remove what obstacles could come in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, I found a place and they gave me, they told me what I needed to do, which was be away for a week, not share toothbrushes, or basically not be in the same household if possible, and
Yeah.
just to avoid. This is for
Yeah.
precautions, because even
Yeah.
my doctor, the Angel, he said, 3 days is plenty.
Yeah.
While the place where I did get it, she said, no, no, 1 week, a week or 10 days, something like
They're
that. So
more,
he
she was more cautious, like, it's better to
was, yes,
do, yeah, do longer
and
time
she's the one
away.
who works with radioactive.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forget the name of them, but they specialize in this aspect or in this field. So yeah, she's like, no, if you can be away from them for a week. So I booked the hotel close to the house, and
Yeah.
I stayed there for a whole week.
So when the first didn't take.
So the first, it was fine for a bit, and then yes, I was going in hyperthyroid again, and it's like, nope, you need another dose of it. So I had to go and get the second one. That was funny as well, because this person who works in the field of radiology stood in front of me to watch me take the second dose,
Yes.
thinking that I did not take the first one.
As our
So
listeners will remember, but anybody who is new and has not tuned into the other one does not know. So yes, they actually
yeah,
thought
that's
she
right.
might not have taken it.
Yes,
And that's the feeling Tina got. But
yes.
getting to
So
our post solution
yes,
expectations and all of that too, Tina. Okay.
yes.
Because
Yeah,
like,
I was
so
going to
from,
move to that. So
yeah,
from that,
go ahead.
so the results. Okay, the first time it didn't work. It took 6 months before I took the second dose again. And I'm not sure if it happened. Yes, it actually happened first. So the first time I took it, I was in my meditation class,
Hmm.
and my
Your throat.
my no limb, yeah, the
Lympho
lymph
nodes, I
here.
think is their name. Yeah.
So we were doing a meditation, and all of a sudden, I felt like not I was choking, but almost basically. And these muscles right
Ah,
here for the speakers. I don't know
yeah.
what they're called. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
do research.
we're not
They
anatomists or doctors. We're
they
people that are sharing
they
experiences.
tightened. They tightened. So they got stiff. They got red,
Oh,
and
oh, they
I
got
said,
red. They
yeah,
got
they
red
also
too.
got red
Oh
when I
my
looked
God.
in the mirror. So
Oh, yeah.
these felt stiff, as if they were tightening, and I was getting a bit shortness of breath. And it got red, and I was in the meditation class. I'm like, all right, just breathe,
Just breathe. You're not
just
dying,
breathe,
hopefully.
concentrate on your breath, and like, everything will be fine. And so I just did that, and then luckily it gradually was going away. But then
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to come home, and I came home to see my mom, and I'm like, oh my God. My
Yeah.
mom was taking care, our mother was here with my husband, helping out with the kids. And
Yeah.
I said,
Mom.
I need to go
I
and
need
see
my
my
mother.
mother.
Mothers are always
So,
the place of comfort. This is where, and I mean, and to interject. So we talked a little bit about the past, and about the past meaning her pre solution, guys. And I know you guys have heard it, but still, a lot of good information came, especially for the doctor aspect that I feel people go through.
yeah,
So with the post solution in mind, even though she hadn't taken the second dose yet, this is that place where it's a lot of helplessness. And I would say
yes,
that that's one of those feelings that you get with not only an autoimmune disease, but in any situation that there's a panic attack, like something that is physical and that
yes,
is constant, and that and like going to a mom is a sense of comfort, but feeling that you have no control, which is why when you get a doctor who has empathy, it's nice because one, they listen to you if you want to participate, but two, like it was not solved. Obviously, she's having this repercussion, this reaction, whatever it is. And so, yeah, this is where the solution obviously has not presented itself in the absence of one of the reasons why the solution was taken, anyways, to not
yeah,
have moments of what's happening
yes,
to me. So
yes. So yeah, exactly. I mean, so it only happened once,
I thought it
thankfully.
happened a second time. I remember you saying like
Maybe
feel,
slightly,
yeah, like
like it
not
was
the
slightly,
same, but you still felt the
exactly.
similar
Yes, the
this,
second, yes, that was the second dose.
yeah.
Because
Ah, okay.
I
Okay.
called her, or I wrote her, I forget which
Yes.
one, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
hotel.
Yes, you were in the hotel and it was happening again. Now, is it an
Yes,
effect of the radioactive? Did the doctors explain
no,
to you?
nobody explained anything. No,
No, did you ask and tell them though?
no, because no, she was there. She gave me the dose, and she left, and I leave, and that, no, I didn't ask her. I didn't think about
So you didn't find, I thought you found out that it might be a consequence.
it.
No, I remember incorrectly, like a person who went through it,
No, well, no, I don't
something.
remember, but my doctor he did say, "Oh, drink water and lemon. That'll help you.
Yes,
That
and
will help you
ice.
get rid of." No, not well. I don't remember, but he said lemon and water.
Mm,
Drink that in the morning, and that will help you fastly, or it will help you get rid of the radioactive iodine faster.
yes. Well, I'm saying so the muscle spasm or whatever was happening, do you think it was the radioactive? You never found out if there's a like a reason
It
connected.
might have been. It might have
Okay.
been, which is why he said yes. Which is why he said
Mm,
to drink the water and lemon, so it would help you get rid of everything.
okay. So after the first dose, that was the only reaction you had. No more panic or anxiety attacks.
No,
No.
exactly. Until, well, until after the second treatment, 6, 7 months later.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as bad, So I mean, exactly. It's like I never used to have these.
And just so you know, listeners, this is basically what we could have also started with, but we chose not to. But when I said to her in the last episode, why aren't you happy? This is why she was not happy. Can
Yes.
you explain connecting it to the expectations that we were this right? Because you are not
Well,
happy
yeah,
because you were
exactly.
thinking it would not happen ever again.
Exactly. Yes. I was thinking, yes. So obviously I did, however, mentioning that I read that book that did warn me.
Mm,
It does warn the readers that you're not gonna fix it. You will, take meditation class and Taoyin Tai Chi as a sport that helps with the breathing and everything.
mm-hmm.
She is suggesting directly that you will go through emotional imbalances and possible panic or anxiety attacks.
Also, they specified. Is it connected to the balancing of the
Hormone,
hormones? Okay.
yes, as well. Well, I mean, I would need to reread the book,
Yeah.
but I also know that it's connected to the adrenal glands.
Mm.
Other books I read.
Okay. And so what did you do? You were disappointed, obviously. How
So
else were you emotionally speaking, and what other actions did you take?
well, other actions that I was disappointed because, yes, going through it, it was lighter. So that was like, okay, it
Better.
wasn't as bad as the first time, which was good, but it's frustrating because I used to have to, wake up at night and be worried, oh, what's going on?
Afraid, the
Yes, being
fear. It's
afraid.
tiresome. I was
Yes.
telling, yeah, the listeners about this the other day with like when I have the panic attack stuff, which is not really, I don't have Graves' disease, but I have those. And I use the word because it's actually fear releases cortisol, if I remember correctly. So this is an
Mm,
actual, and that's what stresses this body. So this
yes.
documentary Heal that I haven't finished watching because I was sleeping through it, but it mentions cortisol and they're talking about this holding of emotions and the stress on the body. And so that helplessness, and I would say
Yes.
this is where knowledge is power, and this is why having doctors that would help would be nicer because you can read and research, but you find out bits and pieces as you go. So for anybody
Yes.
who's tuning in, one, you're not alone at all, ever. Two, the part of expectations, it's human, of course, and it is about feeling not afraid, which is
Yes.
hard when you're having a panic or anxiety attack and or an autoimmune disease that nobody has an answer for, or you're finding solutions but they're not solving. What
It may,
happens that this just creates havoc within the day. So
yes.
go, yeah.
It is frustrating. Exactly. It's like I'm doing everything you're saying to do. I'm following everything you're suggesting to do, and I still end up feeling afraid. I have to go to my husband and wake him up and be like, "Hey, how are you doing? Let's just cuddle."
Yeah, and chit chat.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's as a
or
person, any person just doesn't like to feel, it's not a good feeling to feel afraid.
you feel afraid and helpless, of course.
Yeah,
And then it's like, what am I gonna go to the hospital for?
yeah. They're gonna
I
tell me
went,
the same
no,
thing. They're
I went to the hospital.
oh, you
So
did
there,
the first time.
post after
The second.
whatever.
Yeah.
like after the treatment. So the second, I mean, okay, so the second treatment went well. It went well because the results were, I was fine. At one point, my doctor said, oh, maybe they've stabilized. They basically, maybe they've actually balanced. We
Yes.
have all the hormones are in place, all the
Yeah.
values that need to be in place are in place.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very happy about that for a month. And then it went down where they wanted it to go, which is like, up, you're in hypothyroid.
You
So
were
now we start
disappointed
with,
again.
I was disappointed because yes, I had all this, like, I'll be able to do it. I'll get
Yeah.
back in balance. I
Yeah.
took my Atlantic dose to make sure I don't have any radioactive iodine in me. And,
But
I'm eating the way they advise to eat.
yeah.
I'm implementing all these vegetables and fruits that you need to, that you should be taken from, again, from the book I've read and all of these things. So yes, it's hard to do it on your own.
So
And
when did you go to the hospital? You were saying
so
about the
then
hospital.
yes, I went, it was in September again, or
So was it a
October.
month?
So
How many months after the iodine, the second dose?
yeah, let's
So,
see.
and was it after you had one moment of balance and then it went down
Yes,
again?
yes,
So it was
that was,
after that you
it was
thought it was
after.
balanced, then it went down, which the doctors are happy about. So you're on a
Well, yes, the
medication
goal,
for the hypo. Yeah.
yes, the objective is to become hypothyroid because they can regulate it. Because I did ask, why do we not try and make it balanced?
Function.
Why
Yeah.
does it have to go in hypo? Why is giving
Hmm.
me another thing to deal with?
Yeah.
Like, well, it's because it's risky that it goes back to hypo,
Mm.
basically. So
Ah.
anyhow, um, so yes, yes, it went down. The doctor gave me obviously right away the medicine, Ltidox, the medicine you take for hypothyroid. And yes, so there's the emotional imbalances, the hormonal imbalances all
Hmm.
happened. And so yeah, I went to the emergency room, yeah,
Why was it?
because I got another anxiety attack. I was like, okay, what's going on here? Why is my heart beating this way? Like, and so I went there and
Was your heart beating
I,
faster
it
and
was
you got
fine.
scared?
It
Mm.
was fine. I
Okay.
even went to get my heart checked. I was
Yeah.
like, it was a time where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my heart checked and make sure I'm not gonna have heart attacks or die
Yeah.
of a heart stroke.
Yeah.
And like, maybe I should get my liver checked and get
You
my
got all these.
intestine checked.
Yeah.
Like I made appointments for all of these
Yeah.
other things where it's, so yeah, so I would, in the emergency room, they checked my heartbeat and it was fine. I'm like,
Mm.
yeah, but no,
But no, I'm
I'm
not
not
fine.
like,
Yeah.
I'm not fine. Something's going on. I'm feeling weird. Like, check it again and crying. And
How did they
so
treat
they
you?
checked it. No, they checked it again. So the guy who actually was there, he's like, okay, well, we'll see again. Like, don't worry. And then he talked and he's like, oh, well, maybe it's the medication. They need to give you a higher dosage
Yeah.
and all of these things. So yeah, it's like, seriously, I didn't go through any of this when I had
Hyperthyroid.
hyperthyroid.
I was fine, except for a couple of times. Now, how many
Exactly.
months after the second dose was this? So you said September. So how
Yeah,
many
so it
months
was,
after the first?
well, May, June, July, August, September, October, about 5 months, 5, 6 months,
And what year was it? You remember?
2019.
Okay. So now it's 21. So how about now? Would you say so 6 months after you're still having emotional moments, panic attacks? So the expectations, obviously you became aware that okay, I was better with hyperthyroid, although I couldn't keep it because obviously it was
I
detrimental to your
still,
organs. So you still
yes.
went through with the right option, but it wasn't solution without
Yes,
stuff.
the first response was yes. Like, seriously,
Did the book help you? The one of the American doctor that said there's going to be a time of you having to go through. Did it help you to
Yes.
know why you were going through the panic
Yes.
attacks? Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
If I would have, that's why I'm saying I do recommend it. I forgot about to mention
Is
that
it for
because
any autoimmune disease or is it for Graves
this
only?
is related to thyroid.
Okay.
So anybody with thyroid problems, it's very helpful and insightful. It's
Okay.
actually a book I would recommend to doctors too,
Yes.
like to any endocrinologist. These are also advices that she
Mm,
gives to endocrinologists
I see. Yes.
themselves.
Yeah.
So it's really good. I skimmed through it because at that time I was already too much information at
Yeah.
times is overwhelming. So it gets
Yes.
tiring and you just want a solution and there's no doctor. So when I got that book, I didn't want to go to another extreme and start
Yeah.
freaking out about other stuff. So it's like, what? Let me see what chapter I need. This can
Yeah.
help give me information about.
And today, just this is on top. It's so fascinating because today on the episode, I talked about knowledge, inner knowing, self trust, and you're talking about things that I always talk about using knowledge to empower you. So everybody's different. Obviously, for you, overload of information. It's not something enjoyable, so to speak. Not for good or bad. This is where everybody reacts differently. Um, and just feeling helpless, I would say, all the time, and not having doctors collaborate, because this is where there's a medical condition. So it's not just, okay, I'm just having a panic attack. I'm only having something like this is where your heart would be affected. So you took action to be healthy as a mother, as a person, because you knew
Yeah.
that your actual physiological organs can only withstand so much of that. So I'm trying to separate for the listeners, because when I speak, I'm usually speaking of more of the emotional, the mental layer, physical, but not with a disease. And
Hmm.
with something that you need to take care of, which is where the doctors would be helpful if they were cooperative and empathic, both, not
Yes.
just one, both,
Yes.
particularly for these autoimmune diseases, because of this aspect of really not having the perfect solution, not to mention for any of them potentially having emotional situations take place.
Yes.
But yeah, the knowledge and having it available, but not having the expert who would easily be able to share it. That's the part where
Yes.
with my community, we talk about becoming empowered, but also becoming empowering leaders, and this
Mhm.
communication and being able to be open to always adding knowledge, which is obviously what not all doctors, I won't even give the percentage because I think I know the percentage, but I won't go ahead and do that. But they're not open at all to saying, oh, guess what? The body is made from emotions and it has the neurosynapses firing and whatever. And it has, chemistry involved. And it has, oh yeah, a lot of different components. So maybe I'm specialized in this one field, but maybe I should take into consideration if a patient is telling me, hey, I read this, and this. It's one thing, you got a patient that just comes to you, you give them advice. It's another thing if you've got somebody who's involved and says, here's something that I've researched. Not to mention those who are new and haven't tuned into the last one don't know about your encounter with the one doctor who basically called you different things, and we're not going to repeat it because you guys can go back and listen to the other one. But a very not nice female doctor who
Yes.
Tina was even nice about how she addressed that. The lady was trying to encourage her to take care of herself, but let's just put it that it was not a very friendly human being in that case. So
Agreed.
the part about the book idea that you were telling me with the doctors, so you learned a lot, and you learned also a lot of things that you feel are overwhelming at times, but you still do keep doing research on your own, right?
Yes, I still, what I've learned so far, I still use it. The
Yeah.
nutrition part, for example, I still use it. Anybody I meet who has a thyroid issue, I give advice, or for that matter, any health problem,
Yeah.
by the way, because it doesn't need to be an autoimmune disease necessarily, even if it's something, a common
Yeah.
health issue that
Exactly. Because
irritable bowel syndrome
which is what I have. Yes.
or I don't know, but I'm just saying any form of health problem that one has. I openly give advice on eating more fruit and
Yeah.
vegetables. Um,
Because the books you've read, they do underline the importance
books,
of nutrition, and most people are
yes.
gaining that knowledge. They had another
Well,
conversation.
because they see results and all of these new diets and trends, by the way, trends, because we do need a variety of food. So it's not about
Yes. Only
picking out
one. Yeah.
carbohydrates
Yeah.
and eating only meat or eating.
Yep.
No, it's actually, I think it is
Everything.
about eating everything, but more of vegetables, greens,
Yep.
and fruit, and just being, yeah, just eating more of that, not
Yeah.
like because we eat less of that.
They are gaining information, and it is connected to the flora. There are two documentaries on Amazon or Netflix, one of the two, that
Mm.
talk about the flora, and they've actually even found that it's preservatives, one of the two, preserve the actual preservatives that they use
Mm.
to preserve foods longer on the shelf. In fact, the one doctor that's talking says at a certain point, the FDA, so this is an American based study, is going
Uh-huh.
to have to change. They're going to have to like literally get rid of preservatives because it depletes the flora, and the flora, which they compare to like a forest in our gut,
Uh-huh.
is what
Yeah.
keeps us healthy. And they've went to other cultures, civilizations that don't have the preservatives. So it's not
Yes.
that you have to go and live in the forest necessarily, but our food, if it is not, the more it is from the ground, the
Yes.
more it has the properties that help
We
to
need.
replenish the
Exactly.
flora. So it is
Yes.
about balance. Yeah, but I get it. All the reading you've done with nutrition has shown to
Yes.
you how the proper nutrition replenishes the body and allows it to
Yes.
be new science. When I think of Greg Braden, I haven't done enough research yet for his new stuff, but I'm sure they are talking about all these things in moderation.
Yes. But so yeah, exactly. It's not about not eating pasta or bread. It's just about eating
Yeah.
more of vegetables and fruits, a bit less, given a balance of meat. As I said, a bit of everything, but we do eat less greens. Greens, I mean salads, any kind,
Yeah.
spinach,
And
rucola. But so
what
anyhow,
else have
so
you learned along this journey as you continue getting better, or, after the operation?
well, I to trust what comes
Yeah.
its way, to trust that, to try and view things openly with
Hmm.
uh, open perspective, not
Yeah.
any judgment, not going in favor of one or the other.
And you were saying you have an idea of the book to write,
Well,
of your
I had an
experience.
idea. I had a
Yeah.
thought of, how can I help people out? It would be nice to let doctors know also that for those patients who do get involved
Yeah.
in their health situation, whatever it is, who sit there and read up on it and what could be, how could I help myself by, like what as I said, it stems also from the fact that when I did do that treatment with the doctor in Gaeta who gave me the liquid supplements,
Yeah.
I was gaining weight.
Yeah. It was
I
working.
weighed 38 kilos. I was
Did that
feeling
upset
strong
you?
physically. Well, it upset me because it's like I can't find a doctor who will work with me this way, and I'm getting results without taking medicine.
It reminds me of my scoliosis
So,
when I had this back spasms and I found the Schroth method that you know
mm,
about. And
yeah.
so guys, both of us have scoliosis. I have the double S, so it's a worser version, if you will. She has the one. But the point is, and here is again the part of there being more than one aspect, and there being this divide with professionals. So what I found was an exercise method. It's called Schroth method. It is created by a woman who had scoliosis herself, and it actually works with the body. And I searched for people that were in that method once I had these back spasms, which are horrible. I'm only 41. We are, and I was 33. I forget which one, or 35. I don't remember anymore, but I was like an 80-year-old or 90-year-old who couldn't walk. And when I found this doctor who was willing to share, even though I couldn't consult with her, a couple of tips on how to implement. They also shared this study that they had conducted in front of the Scoliosis Association. So they're a group of doctors that work with patients and basically try to promote the Stroth method. And this is where a regular doctor does not promote this exercise or does not even enforce it, so to speak. They talk only about bracing, then they talk about operation. I joined a gazillion groups of scoliosis, and most parents will go the traditional route. I mean, I've gotten even some people within those groups, admins, removing something that I had written or responding simply because they wanted to promote their back brace or their
Oh,
specific
wow.
operation, like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, it's not nice to be not given the opportunity to work with one's own body. And it doesn't make sense to me when I think that they've been educated, meaning they've spent a buttload of money, they've gone to school. But
Yeah.
then again, they've maybe done it for specific reasons that don't involve holistic, because the holistic, the one who does take into account a lot of things and wants to work with the body because it's important, because it can work. There's like
Yes.
some trust in it that they are different. And I would say that's probably a growing number of people that eventually will become that type of doctor, since the community of
Yes.
people involved in their own stuff is happening as
Yes,
well.
that would be nice. That would be
Yeah,
nice. I think it's more complex. I mean, again, when I look at it, it's okay. Uh, my researching, it's expensive to get that kind of alternative.
exactly. No, I know.
To
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
find that one who said, "Hey, everybody, look, I found this solution and it helped 10 people," and I'm like, really, why can't I get in touch with you?
yeah.
And you can
Yes,
help me
that's
fix
right.
my
The
problem.
experience
Hey,
that you had,
so
exactly.
they start off with, hey, look, I helped this number of people, for example,
Yeah.
resolve whatever issue, and
And
then
then
I can't get in touch with them.
you don't
And if
make
I
yourself
do get in
accessible.
touch with
Yeah.
somebody else, it's like a whole lot. The money, like it's a lot of money. So
Yeah.
it's a mix. The doctors, I mean, yes, you have those who could be more empathetic, be
Empathetic.
more
Yeah.
understanding,
Yeah.
be more understanding of their patients, those who are involved. Not everybody is like me or other people who say, okay, hey, let me try and see something else.
Yeah.
There's other people who, hey, this is my problem, help me out.
So with the book, if you write it, what do you hope to achieve?
If I write it, I hope to help many people know that they're not alone out
Yeah.
there trying to find solution, and I would like to reach the doctors.
The traditional
It would be
medicine,
nice.
right?
It would, yeah, and any
Or
doctor,
and
yes,
yeah,
new doctor,
old
traditional
doctor.
doctor, because we're all human. So whether
Yeah.
it's new practice, for example,
Yeah.
or not, like the part is like working together.
Yeah.
And for those traditional doctors, if we want to call them that way, because there could be a new
Yeah.
doctor who also does that kind of, who
Naturopathy, who has a
yeah,
knowledge
no,
base of
anybody
other
who
things. Yeah.
also reacts basically like, I know what I'm doing, you stay out of it. So
Yeah.
any kind of doctor who has an
Close-minded.
attitude of,
That's close. Yeah.
you're not gonna tell me what to do, or no, I don't need you saying anything. The goal or the hope would be to, yes, reach them, get to them and say, hey, those who do want to be involved, work with them. We're
Yeah.
not saying you don't know how to do your job
Yeah.
or anything. I know you're busy and you have who knows how many other patients, because that's the other thing. But if
Yeah.
I come with you and say, hey, let's try, can you please test me on this and this and this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
practical,
Would be nice to
not
be like,
exaggerated stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So not take it to offense. So the ideal would be, I feel like could help
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
show people that, it's okay. We all feel that way. And we'll get through it.
Yeah.
Changing your point of view also helps a lot. Be an
Yeah.
understanding of them and hoping to reach doctors or get through the doctors, as in, we're not here to say you don't know how to do your job.
Yeah.
We want to be part of, we want to be involved
With our solution.
and with our solution
And
and
with our
just,
bodies and with the what's happening. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that would be the goal
Yeah.
to
And
reach.
anything else for this post solution expectation? So emotionally speaking, how are you at this point, 3 years down the line?
So 3 years down the line, the last
Right.
blood test I took, they were balanced. It was like, yay, finally, all the
Oh,
results are
okay.
balanced. The one of them was a bit, so the TSH is the one that they look at,
Mm-hmm.
and if it goes, uh, it's that one finally balanced. It was way out. It was 15, and now it's 1 comma something. And so I felt it was a bit low, and I asked the doctor if we could adjust my dose of
Yeah.
medication. So he agreed. So there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, he doesn't
You're working
cooperate with.
well.
Yes, I work well with him. So at least, as I said, that's what I'm saying. It's every doctor is who they are. They won't accept alternative medicine. He didn't
Yeah.
accept to look into detail with the mineralogy, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's a
Got it.
doctor who, when I got my allergic reaction, and he said, take the heart medication and cortisol before you do this radioactive iodine thing. I looked at him and I'm like, do I really need to take this? Is it
Yeah.
really necessary? And
Now
he
let me
said,
ask you this after. Go ahead.
yeah, he said no.
Are you gonna
So
keep on doing something to see the mineralogy on your own? Like reading more books or what? Or do
like
you just drop
the
it? Like to find out because you brought it for a reason. So even though all of the stuff is balanced, there's obviously
mm,
still aspects that you.
no, I'm still working on, I'm
So are
still
you doing it
using
on
all
your
the,
own? So you
yes,
get your results and you have your nutrition books and you keep on working with nutrition to
yes,
try and get your minerals to where
yes,
you're being
yes,
informed with these autoimmune there because they're so she reads on nutrition and particularly with autoimmune diseases. And with that,
yes.
you gain that
I am
information.
still, yes, I'm still applying what I've learned
Yeah.
from the books.
uh, Okay.
It's hard, and because there needs to be
It's an
consistency.
exact
One
science,
should be
right?
consistent. No, one should be consistent.
Mm,
They give a diet to use for a month, for
mm-hmm.
example. Okay, so a way of eating to use for a month. However, and that's the part, the frustrating part is there. If I had somebody who would cooperate,
That would be
then
helpful because you can
that
monitor
would
your
help me.
progress.
Yes, help me monitor the progress, help me understand what's going on.
What's
For
working, what's not
example,
working.
well, yes, so I would take celery juice for every morning for 3 months. Everything's fine. I noticed the difference in the hair, for example. Okay, this is
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
one thing they suggest to take first thing in the morning, and I do see results. The skin is shinier, the hair looks healthier, but after 3 months, I start getting a bit lightheaded.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
suggest for 1 month. Okay, so the books I read, they give a suggestion of a 1 month way
Yeah.
of eating
Yeah.
and drinking
Yeah.
different drinks, beverages, now vegetables and fruit. But I still don't, the fear, the worry of something, not having a doctor there
Yes.
saying, yes, it's okay.
This and see, okay, so you guys can see the face, right? The face, which we all have been through. And so again, because today I talked about it and the listeners, they really always know because this is going on YouTube and the podcast anyways, but that this is the part where you feel helpless and the expert would help you, which would be in this case a doctor that would follow you and that is accessible and that will allow, because nutrition, it is perfect science, meaning there's stuff behind it. And so when you only find a nutritionist, they're not the expert that maybe can follow the endocrine system, which is what she would need in this case. And that's what's it makes it challenging, not to mention they don't work together because so when I did what I did with my Schroth method, I did it on my own and I went to my osteopath who did not respond positively because of the whole ego thing, Cheeto. So he wasn't negative, and I'm a person who doesn't, it's like, it doesn't matter the reaction. So I knew him, I know him. He's still my doctor. I had results with him. But when I went to him with the Schroth method, he said, don't get your hopes up. And he said it in a very, not very nice way. As I was going
Right.
through back spasms, he is simply saying it's going to be a waste of your time, which is untrue, guys. Okay. So this is where the peers, those lovely people that should be working together, they're not even acknowledging each other's data. And
Yes.
that I would say is even more to me as a human being, quote unquote, disappointing. And for me, another reason why I'm not able. And so while Tina, as you can tell, is like, it's tiresome because there's so much more behind being able to stay healthy with the hyperthyroid and everything that you did go through. I'm assuming you just
Yes,
want to have
it's
a good level of everything.
well, exactly. I don't want to. You don't want to take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
You have to. One has to have a balance.
Yeah.
So,
And an
for
expert would
example,
help the balance.
so
Go ahead.
what I'm doing is, as I've said to I've increased the amount of vegetables, I've increased the amount of food I eat. I haven't changed anything in my eating habits except for
Mm-hmm.
increasing the amount I
Yeah.
eat, like 5 fruits a day, 7 different types of vegetables. I try.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and it's like, all right, so let me try the celery juice every morning or water and lemon every
Mm-hmm.
morning for a bit, for a month. The water and lemon is fine, but the celery juice, for example, no, I got lightheaded at one
Yeah.
point,
And you found
and
out that that's,
and I said, okay, I'm gonna stop. So I took a 5, 6 month break,
yeah.
and then I started again for another 2, 3 months, and then it happened again. So once more, it's like, all right, maybe it's because you keep, even if your body supposedly releases what it doesn't need, that's not necessarily
Yeah.
true that it won't accumulate
Yeah.
or it won't be too much of something or you have too much of something and
Yeah.
not of something else. So I'm still anyhow, to the question you asked, yes, I'm still following the
Yeah.
guidelines where I just alternate. I'm doing it
Yeah.
slowly.
Yeah.
So
And you feel better, like even though it's still emotionally and mentally busy, you feel more at ease, at least, since
yes.
obviously the hyperthyroid is no longer hyper, so that physiologically, but in general, I guess.
I feel better also because the doctor works with my endocrinologist works with me. So
Mm.
the last results, for example, came out good.
Yeah.
I know on the side I do what I do. I still have the research.
Yeah.
I do have the kids. I'm busy.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
Yeah.
and so now we saw the values and he said, yes, we can adjust the dosage. So I'm happy. Like, I'm
So
good.
it's an ongoing progress, is what you would say.
Yes, it
Any
is. Yes.
last bit of advice? Because this way we let the listeners go on with their day.
Well, we can't always be in control of everything. I think that life in general does try to teach us to trust, have faith, and not
Yeah.
always want to be in control of everything. I mean, listen to
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying to not listen to one's own intuition, but
Try
that's
and
my
do it.
advice.
Yeah. To try and
Well,
do it with
no,
ease. Right.
yes, be trusting. No, really having faith also. Like hear yourself, recognize when it's more of I want to control this. I
Yeah.
want to be the one to choose.
But
Whereas,
it's related to fear. That's why the control, it is fear. Even though many people think of it as possession, I always think of a child that's like, I
mm,
want to know what's going to happen. And not because we're children, but because the human has a conscious brain that thinks. So wanting to know the why to me is normal, which is why the body being so complex and you go to the doctor, like that's the part, like you know you don't have all the knowledge, and you go to the ones who have the knowledge. So when it's not something that is deadly, so to speak, so your organs are fine, it's just your own thing, you can work with it. But when it
Yeah.
involves your actual health, it's a lot more emotional. So it makes
Yeah.
sense what you're saying. But go ahead
Yes.
with your other
So
advice.
no, that's yeah. I think we should meditate, everybody.
Yeah. She's a
Meditation
big
helps.
meditate.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
no, it really does. Yoga, if you like, or something. What is the other one? But
Tao
I
Chi.
need,
No.
yeah, no, Tao Yin or
Mm,
Tai Chi. No, it's Tao Yin, but no, not that one. No, but it doesn't have to be meditating, but where you
yeah.
work with the breathing.
You know what?
Breathing.
This is what we'll do. We'll do another episode if Tina wants with the suggestions for your relaxation
Wow,
state or something. If you want, eventually.
I
We'll
do.
think about
If
it.
the people are interested, why not?
I'm
But yes,
interested, and I'm sure they will be interested. So we'll
but yes, have faith, everything will be fine. And yes, hopefully we'll all work together with the doctors and get to them as well.
I'm sure we will actually. And I'm sure we will contribute. We already are contributing to help people, and those doctors or future doctors who will tune in, they can know our feelings with lots of love. We share with you what we would like with you. So please. But, anyways, lovely listeners, thank you for tuning in. And we'll be back again with some other episode with Tina and future interviewees as well.
Bye.
Bye.